Hi, I'm Nikki Woods, and we are going beyond the studio with actor, director, writer, just all around great guy, Eriq La Salle. How are you?
I'm great. How you doing?
I am doing well. You have a new book. It's your second novel, Laws of Wrath,
hmm
correct? And the first novel was Laws of Depravity. And I know we kind of had some Twitter conversation about the first one because I can't read your books at night. I have a problem with that. They are very and I don't know if they're just scary, but they're very, very real, very realistic, I think.
Well,
So,
that's always the one of the best compliments.
yeah.
I think people really get into it, and it feels like it's something that can really happen. So very edgy, but yeah, I mean, I've gotten a lot of tweets
Yeah.
and Facebook saying I can't read it at night. I can't read it with the lights. It's got to be like one person literally could not read it. They had their morning ritual where they could read it during the day, and that was it. So so
Wow.
obviously that's a great compliment.
Well, so let's talk about that because people probably, are wondering about the transition from actor to director, now to writer, author. Tell me about that. Have you always wanted to write, or is this something that you discovered later in life?
I think it's weird because it's something that started early,
Mm-hmm.
and it started when I was a kid. I used to write poetry and creative writing, and then when I was 14, I decided I wanted to write a play for the drama club, and that's actually how I got into acting. Because when I went to the drama club to tell them that I wanted to write a play, they were like, "Yeah, yeah, 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 get in line and audition." And once I auditioned, got the role, then the acting career, took off from there. And then somehow I just found my way back to writing. When I started directing short films, I would write the short films. So I started more with screenplays. But as far as an actual novelist, I don't know. It just grew out of I think more of a creative desire to try something different. And so I tried it a few years ago, failed miserably.
Did
Mis-
you? This was before Laws of Depravity?
yes, miserable.
Okay.
I mean, I'm talking like friends that I gave it to act like I didn't even give it to them. There was no response. There was
Really?
crickets, and I was like, okay. But and then when Laws of Depravity, the concept of Laws of Depravity, I found my niche. I found my genre. The first book was not a thriller, and for some reason, I guess I write these thrillers a lot better. So yeah, so that's how it started.
So is it because you read thrillers? Is that something you enjoy reading, or?
Well, I love dramas,
Yeah.
as movies and as reads. I think thrillers for me feel a little more real, and what
Mm-hmm.
I mean by that is like you have like these edgy characters. You get to sort of explore the darker side of man, and I find it very. I like pace. I like I don't like books where people tell you, oh, after you make it past the first 100 pages, it gets really good. I'm like, I ain't gonna make it past the first 100 pages.
No, I agree with you there.
Yeah,
You
some
hook them right
grab
in the
you right away.
beginning. Yeah, you do. And so I want to talk about the book, but I also want to commend you because when I got my copy and I saw James Patterson and his quote right there on the cover. How did that feel?
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. My marketing person, Raquel Henderson, basically just threw up a Hail Mary. And she said, we were looking for established authors to give me a blurb. Because, people were still sort of, I think there's always a challenge when you go from one thing to another.
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
when people get used to you doing one thing, I know as an actor, when I started transitioning into directing, there were a lot of people in my industry that couldn't really grasp that. And then, it took me a few years, and then they started going, wow, he's a great director. Now, jumping from that all the way over to the author thing, it was
Right.
people were like, can he really write? So we wanted the stamp of an established writer, and we sent it to a few people, and we sent it to his camp. Totally forgot about it. And a couple of months later, Raquel called me and she's like, I can't
I know.
breathe. I can't breathe. I'm like, what's wrong? So when she told me, I was like, I can't
You
breathe.
can't breathe. Now I can't breathe. Yeah. And I was so cool because it wasn't just like this is a good read or something very. You could tell that he really read the book because he gave such specific information. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, having James Patterson is the master of the genre. He sold over 350 million books and still going strong. And he's considered to be the master of the thrillers. And so to have his stamp, and so he came out and he said, Eriq La Salle's Laws of Wrath is all thriller, no filler, a white knuckle treat. It was just like, I was like, that is, not only is it going on the front of the book, I want his name to be bigger than my name.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that endorsement gave a certain validation, and people then really started. I mean, I've had my fans from the first book. I've had people that love the series already, but now when we start talking mass appeal, people started really, because now they trust his word.
Absolutely.
And beginning to hear also press and other people, the reviews have always been very strong. So it's the combination. You never know where it's going to come from when you start a journey like this. You never know what's going to be that thing that pushes you over. And this is certainly one of those milestones.
So tell us a little bit about the book. I know that it's always about, like you said, kind of the darker side of man. And it was interesting to me that kind of the target this time is the church.
Well, more so, the first time, Laws of Depravity was much more about the church.
Yeah.
And Laws of Wrath it gets more personal. Laws of Wrath is one of our lead characters, one of their relatives is killed. And you come to find out that it's really some 40-year-old vendetta. But it attacks in a very personal way. So what it does is it really raises certain questions about, where does your spirituality lead you? Does it lead you to be a better person? Does it lead you to be a worse person? Does your spirituality lead you to forgiveness, or does it lead you to vengeance? And so there's always these. It's like, I'm not into gratuitous violence and stuff like that, or gore. But the stories, if you look at them, they really sort of have more of they're shaped more as a parable. There are a lot of metaphors, and so it's like it's a journey that our lead characters go on, because as they're chasing quote unquote metaphoric demons, they're also, of course, battling their own inner demons, because this case threatens to unravel one of our protagonists and turn him to the dark side, because it's so filled with hatred and anger and vengeance, and it raises a lot of spiritual questions, and offers some really cool original kills, and
we love a high kill count around here.
High kill, yeah. And creative kills.
And a creative kill count, yes, sir. So tell me a little bit about your writing process. I'm always fascinated when I talk to writers about, their routine. Do you have a ritual behind your writing? Do you write in the morning? Do you write at night? What's your writing process?
I find that I get more done in the morning. I don't sleep a lot. So I think when I get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning or 4 o'clock in the morning, there's a window. Like that sweet spot is usually from 5 to 8. It's totally quiet. So I feel like I get more out in those 3 or 4 hours than I will for the rest of the 8 hours. So sometimes I'll write I might write for 12 hours. But in that 3 or 4 hours, I would probably got 60 to 70% of the day's work done.
Right.
And then, you get into Facebook, phone calls.
And Twitter, which you're really active on.
Yes. So that's pretty great. But there's a saying. They say, once you're a writer, you're always writing. You're either literally writing or you're thinking about writing. And I just came from an interview, and I was walking down 6th Avenue in the 50s, and I was writing. I'm writing the next book. So there were lines, and when I got to the interview, I have to put it in my phone under notes, and then when I left, you finish it, then you check it again. So I think you're always writing, because your mind is always interpreting things. You hear these great phrases, and you're like, oh, I got to use that, or I want to, what's my version of that, or that would be a cool subject to explore. So, you know, you're always writing.
So what's next? Are you writing the screenplay for the Laws series, or what?
No, I'm getting ready to start the third book, which I'm really excited about. But right now, I've been doing a lot of directing, so I've got to find that balance because right now, like I'm tired. You know, I've been in a good way. But I just got finished directing Under the Dome, so I was in North Carolina doing that, and then I start. So I'm taking the month of July off just to promote the book, and then in August I basically start directing for the next 3 or 4 months straight on various projects. So I've got to figure out when I'm going to take the time to actually write the first one. My hope is that as I'm writing these little notes, that it kind of starts writing itself.
Right.
And I want to But the idea is to write five books in this series, and then, of course, in success, we want to turn it into a movie or television franchise as well.
That is awesome. The second novel is Laws of Wrath. It is available wherever books are sold, so you can get it online, Amazon, you can get it in Barnes & Noble, wherever books are sold, it is everywhere. So congratulations to you. The other thing that I wanted to mention is I'm really happy that you don't have to read all of them. Because, you know, it's just irritating when you have to read one to understand what's going on in the second. Luckily, I read the first one, but I'm glad that they stand alone. So pick up Laws of Wrath and make sure you get those first week numbers, and then go back and read Laws of Depravity if you haven't read it already.
Right, and they can go to my website, IamEriqLaSalle.com, and remember I spell my name with a Q. So if they go to IamEriqLaSalle.com, it literally has all the buttons of all the places. We make it really easy, and all the places that they can get in, and just kind of one click. And yeah, they are standalones, but the true thriller readers, ironically, what we're finding is there's a huge surge in the first book.
Good.
Yeah, so people are definitely buying them up and reading them in order. But it's like you said, you don't have to, but that's how some people like to do it. So, hey, listen, we're excited that people are reading it, and something I'm really proud of. And the other last thing I want to say is, you know, I hear a lot that when people say, well, I'm not really a thriller reader. But then when they'll come back and they say, I don't really normally read thrillers, but I love your characters so much that I fell in love with them. And so it made no difference what the genre was, because I really love the characters. And that's something I'm really, really proud of. So even if people aren't normal thriller readers, there's something in this book that I think that they'll find interesting.
Well, I think most people can read anything that's written really, really well, no matter what genre it is. So that's just a testimony to how well written these books are and what a great author you are.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
You are welcome. So give us the website again.
IamEriqLaSalle.com, ERIQ. And the cool thing is we have trailers.
You have book trailers. I love them.
Yeah, I have my nephew direct, so we have these book trailers, so these little mini movies about the book. I give away free chapters. There's also the short story prequel, which is just 20 pages. That's Laws of Innocence. And so you can go, once you go to my website, you're in that world.
Yeah.
And so once IamEriqLaSalle.com, and it also shows you how to purchase it easily. And all the information, all the publicity, where I'm going to be. I mean, it's everything.
It's everything Eriq La Salle.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to us. Once again, the book is Laws of Wrath. I'm Nikki Woods, and we have gone beyond the studio with Mr. Eriq La Salle. Thank you.
It was a great thing, Nikki. All right.